to potentially sell uranium to India subject to the negotiation of bilateral safeguards agreement with India. It will now be a question of the two governments resourcing those negotiations. The timeline will be determined by the speed of those negotiations. No one's put a timeline on it. The minerals resource rent tax only applies to coal and iron ore. It does not apply to uranium. And the other change in the taxation regime was the petroleum resource rent tax. Historically an offshore industry, the industry is now developing onshore, so we applied the same PRRT tax system on onshore petroleum products because it's a level playing field. We've had record commodity prices, far higher than anyone expected. Royalties are paid irrespective of good or bad times in terms of commodity prices. The MRRT aimed at coal and iron ore is a profits-based tax during periods of record commodity prices. Hence, we applied this new tax. The Australian community owns the resources. You only get one chance to develop the resources. Therefore, during times of record profits, the Australian community ought to get a share of those profits. The truth is a number of other countries are now looking at the MRRT as a potential model to apply a profits-based tax to the development of their own resources sectors. The price reflects supply and demand in the international market. We can't get involved in those matters. Australian coal's on offer. You pay the appropriate market price. There's no subsidies.
And the government has not asked you for any kind of deals there, the Indian government?
No.
And
because I made it very clear, even if they were to ask, I wouldn't do anything because I do not get involved in commercial matters. It's inappropriate. We are operating on a market-based system, and there's no role for government in commercial negotiations.